Welcome to this very first video of a multiple part series in which I will be showing you exactly how you can start and learn dropshipping in 2026 and beyond with basically zero knowledge or experience required. And my goal with this entire series is to show you exactly behind the scenes how we start and launch our first dropshipping store on Shopify, to finding winning products through different product research methods, to eventually launching and scaling our ads so you can run your profitable online store in 2026 and beyond. This very first video will cover the basics of what dropshipping is in the first place, how you can take advantage of this in 2026 moving forward, and of course how it works. And everything that I will explain inside this video will be about the basics of what will follow in the upcoming videos. So this will lay the foundation of what you can expect in the upcoming videos. So with all that being said, let's dive into it. First of all, I want to let you in and understand what our advantage is. First of all, when you're gonna start, or if you're thinking about basically launching your first dropship store. Maybe you've done your research, maybe you've gone over several different business models, so you don't know yet if dropshipping is the right opportunity for you to tap into in 2026 and forward. Maybe you want to basically start earning an extra income. Maybe you want to just have more location freedom, or you want to have more time freedom so you can spend more time with your family, your friends, and your loved ones. Whatever your goal is, the advantages of dropshipping or e-commerce as a whole is that there is zero inventory or stock required to get started. There's no big upfront cost required because it's always profit first. I will also elaborate on that in a second. You only need a laptop and a Wi-Fi connection to make this work. You can work from anywhere in the world, so you're basically location independent. And of course with that, there is no boss that tells you when you should work or when you get free time for a vacation. But I want to also be very clear here. This is not a get rich quick scheme. If you're gonna start in e-com or with dropshipping, then you should understand that it's never gonna be an overnight success. There is a lot of work required. However, with this goal, of course, is to enjoy the work that you're doing because you're building something that is completely of your own, instead of doing it maybe for a boss that you're working for right now. You don't need to quit your job tomorrow. That's also something super important to understand. And I don't want you to do that because you will only create more stress and more friction for yourself in your current life. You can, however, of course, replace it over time. And that is what we want to work towards by basically following this series. And obviously there's no knowledge or experience required to get started, as I already mentioned. And that is the most important part of it. Because to let you also in on how I even started myself back in 2019, at the end of 2019, I did not know what I needed to do. I was working in a cookie factory, literally 250 meters from where I live right now. And this cookie factory was run by, it was so shit in terms of he screamed in my face, literally in front of everyone when I had a discussion with him. It was completely embarrassing. And at that point and at that moment, I decided as well that I didn't want to work for that shitty boss for 40 years. But to be honest, I don't know what I needed to do in the first place because I don't come from a rich family. I have no entrepreneurs in my family, and I just needed to basically do something with my life as I was such at a very young age. But to be honest, it was not what I expected when I actually rolled into e-commerce or dropshipping at that point. The first 8 months of my journey were very tough. What do I mean by tough? I was earning €4.72 an hour at that point, and I was barely getting by. I was also a full-time student on the side. When working in the cookie factory, earning such a low wage, I invested every single cent that I earned back into my business, and I was burning every single cent till zero because I did not know what to do. I had no guidance, and this, what I'm gonna create right now, this series that you're watching, the first of many videos that will follow, was exactly what I needed when I started back in 2019. So that is also what I hope that you can take away from this series, that this might be your guide in order to get started, because this would be exactly what I would have needed when I started back in 2019, which was unfortunately not available at that time. But I do know there was a mentor or someone that I knew very close to me who was also in dropshipping, and I just reached out to him and I said, hey, look, this is my problem. I don't have money. I really want to make this work. I have nothing to lose. Can you help me out? That's what I did. And when I decided to take him as my first mentor, he helped me after 1 month from 182 euros in my bank account to doing over 40,000 euros in sales with one simple product. And this changed everything for me, obviously. I felt like King Kong, that I could do literally everything. I was so young. I was like 18 years old at that point, and I was making more than a yearly salary in literally a month's time. Obviously, I wanted to quit my job and I wanted to drop out of school immediately. I did not do that, but a few months later, I was able to do it because I was consistently learning. I was very curious to make this work, and with his help, I felt very confident to do so. And that is what I did. So that is a short background story for myself, so you understand as well, okay, who am I listening to in the first place? By the way, you can also look at my entire story, which I shared a few years ago on the same channel that you're watching right now. That will explain everything from how I started and where I was going to even the lessons that I learned and actually strategies that you can implement from those videos that are already in this channel. So with that being said, the steps to dropship successfully are very important to understand, because this is what we will be covering throughout this entire series. First of all, we of course want to find the winning product on the Facebook ads library. That is by doing proper product research. Most of the times you're maybe seeing videos on YouTube from people who are actually giving you product research methods that are either from their own, so they want you to pay for their services, or it is outdated. So what I will be sharing is, like I said, exactly what I am doing. And that will also follow in the upcoming videos, because this product research strategy is bulletproof. It's what I share with all of my students, and they can confirm it as well inside the comments in the upcoming videos. We want to list that product on the Shopify store, obviously. So that means that we need to build a Shopify store, which I will also help you with. We will create the ad creative in which we will advertise with in Canva. This is super important because Canva allows you to, of course, create very highly quality-based images for very cheap, based on their subscription, and also very quickly. Besides Canva, what we are also going to do is using AI to basically create even better images, so you can compare it and use the ones that you think should be working based on the research that we will do from competitors in other markets. And with that, we will also find and help you understand what markets you should focus on in order to become profitable. We launch our ads, of course, then and analyze the performance with the ads in Meta, basically business. So that means that we are going to launch and basically run paid ads through paid advertising on Meta Business. And that means that we are going to run ads through Facebook and Instagram. And I will help you with that in the upcoming videos on how to do it, how to cut our spend if it's not working, and of course as well how to scale our ads up when we do see a very good return on investment. And that will also be explained inside those videos. And this process, after all of the above that I explained, becomes rinse and repeat. So what is rinse and repeat? With dropshipping, what it is, it's something that when you find your winning strategy, you can literally copy and paste over and over and over and over again. The one thing that we want to understand is that we don't want to overcomplicate things, and we want to use strategies that have been proven to work for us. So based on what I've learned over the past 6 years so far, I will give away inside these series so you can use that for yourself, so you don't need to make those same mistakes yourself, which will save you a lot of time, save you a lot of money. And on top of that, you can directly tap into the strategies that I've learned over those 6 years, so you can actually successfully dropship yourself in a very short period of time. So when we rinse and repeat, that means that we are not, of course, going to consistently find winners without failure. Failure is part of the process in order to succeed. And that is exactly what you also need to learn in order to become better. It is not a guaranteed outcome, but this process, this step-by-step guidance will help you to understand what works, and also helps you to basically, like I said, save you a lot of time and money, so you can become successful if you follow the steps continuously. And that is what I will tap into here as well. Because look, one of the most important things that you should understand is that consistency will create success when it's intentional and you follow the steps accordingly. As I said, I will try to cover as much as possible inside this series. And if you try and actually implement the lessons that you will learn alongside the videos that I will share, I can not guarantee, but I can almost guarantee that you will see success as long as you're consistent and you're willing to put in the work required. All right. So the things to keep in mind during this process is, first of all, we fulfill our products through a private agent. So what is a private agent? A private agent is a person or a company that is fulfilling our orders. So instead of us using AliExpress suppliers, what we don't want to do, we're gonna focus on one person or one company that is in direct contact with either AliExpress, with Alibaba, or whatever manufacturer they are in contact with in China, to grab those products from and directly send it out to our customer and without us even seeing or touching the products ourselves. That's also what I mentioned. We don't own any inventory or stock, and we don't even touch the products ourselves at all, because our agent fulfills our products directly to the customer's door from our website. We are just the middleman. That's it. So we have to fulfill our products through a private agent, and we only pay the supplier once the customer has paid us. And so our fulfillment goes automatically. You have to understand, as I mentioned also in the beginning, that there is no big upfront cost, right? And what I meant by that is that you only pay for the products that you have on your store as soon as the customer has placed an order on our store. So you don't need to pay for those products up front. If you compare it to, for example, branding, then you need to buy products in stock up front. For dropshipping, it is not required because we have a supplier that directly ships it out from the manufacturer to the customer's door without us lifting a finger. The only thing that we need to do is, of course, paying the supplier, as I mentioned, as soon as we have received the money from the customer who placed the order on our website. I hope that makes sense. And all the tracking information and sending of the parcels gets done by the agent itself. I will also create a specific video about this on how you can do this the best way and most cost-effective way possible. So as I said, we don't use AliExpress suppliers. Nobody nowadays, especially not in 2026 moving forward, wants to wait 30 days for shipping to get their order delivered, because most of all, you would already have received many complaints about the delay of the package. So with that, we have a very efficient way of sending our products, most likely between 5 to 7 days rather than 30 days to the customer's door. And we can sell all kinds of product, guys. This is super important. Why this is important? Because I don't believe in saturated products, first of all. Okay, that's also what I mentioned here in step 5. But what I mean with selling all kinds of products is that you, as soon as you have, let's say, a store, and let's say you're going to open up a general store in this case, then you can test everything that we will find by using the product research strategy that I will share with you guys in the next videos, that will allow you to basically test anything, like I said, without even paying for the product up front, as long as it meets the product research criteria. So I will give you guys my product research criteria and how you can find effective and profitable products from other competitors in other markets, so we can track, basically use those products by tracking it accurately, using it on our store in a different market, read a different country, and that allows us, of course, then to test that product that is proven to work in a different market, in a different country on our store. So we only test what is proven to work. This way, you're not reinventing the wheel. That's also what I meant here. We don't want to reinvent the wheel. We want to only use what is already proven to work. That is super important. This is exactly the same as Zara is also doing. Zara, the clothing store, is literally using clothes from the biggest brands out there. They're creating it themselves, and that is most likely going to sell, because the biggest brands out there who basically you're overpaying for, Zara offers for a fraction of that price. And that is what the biggest brands that most likely you're liking also are doing. Maybe they even started dropshipping themselves, and they eventually transitioned into a brand that allowed them, of course, to become an authority in the space. And that is also what we want to do with our store, if you're gonna use a niche store. So the difference between general stores and niche stores will also be explained inside this series. But just to give you a quick breakdown, is that general stores are stores that you can literally sell anything on. Literally anything. From glass bottles to electronica, to clothing, to home accessories, to garden accessories, to whatever you might think of, as long as it's available for our agent to fulfill, and that is why our agent comes in place as well to source those products for us, then we can sell it. And that will also be a very exciting part of this process, which I will explain with you guys later. Input always equals output. Look, if you're gonna test one product per day for, let's say, 3 days straight, and you're then gonna stop for like 2 weeks because you don't know, something goes wrong, or you're not 100% sure if it's working, then the output you cannot expect to be the same for me when I'm testing 5 products per day for 7 days a week. So input always equals output. As long as you're putting in the work that you will find out as well throughout the series what you can focus on in order to become profitable, then you can create the output that you're searching for. You cannot expect just to test one product and to directly, as I mentioned in the beginning, get rich overnight and think that everything sticks because you like the product. I will give you the resources, the knowledge, and as well, based on my experience, everything that you need to know in order to become profitable. But it's still your job to execute on it. And that is your input. And if you do that, following the strategies, then you can create the output that most likely you're watching this video for in the first place. So with all that being said, as I mentioned as well, there is no saturated products earlier. If you're right now thinking, I don't know what to sell, and that might hold you back, then most likely you're not going to even put in the things that you should do in order to create that output that you desire. But what I mean with no saturated products is I don't believe in saturated products. Like if I'm selling a shoe that I've seen 3 years ago and it comes back again, that means that that shoe has been sold many times, but it's not saturated, right? Saturated products is something that most people say that have no clue what they are talking about, that have not seen success themselves. Saturated products is something that they are not creative enough to basically market the product differently. If something is saturated or not working, that means that your marketing sucks. You should focus on the creative. You should focus on a landing page. You should focus on your offer. If you don't know what to sell, look for better products by using the product research criteria that I will provide. And your job is to make the product, either the creative, landing page or offer, better. That is your job. It is not to just copy and paste everything what the competitor is doing. Our job is to look at, okay, this is already what is working. How can we make the creative, landing page or offer better to make even more sales than that the competitor is using? That is what we should do. The people that lose nowadays are the ones that have no creativity or are just too lazy to do the job required in order to make the product better than what they have initially searched it for. So that is also what I will be explaining inside this series, to help you understand how we can create a better offer, a better landing page, and a better creative, so we can make that saturated product eventually still work. And then the challenges while dropshipping. Look, it is simple, but it's not easy. What do I mean by that? The strategies and everything that I will be explaining to you will be very simple, but it does not mean that the results will come easy. You still need to put in the work in order to create the output, right? So that is most of the times the hardest thing, because nowadays, if you want to succeed, it's not hard anymore. The only thing that you need to do different than your competitor is staying consistent by following the right strategies. I will give you the right strategies. I will give you that handle that you need in order to potentially create the output that you desire. But it's still your job to take action, because only listening to knowledge but not implementing it will only get you so far. So with all that being said, as I mentioned earlier, consistency will create you the success when it's intentional and you follow the steps accordingly. Everything that I will share. And finding winners can take 1 day or 30 days, but my one request to you is that you should stick to the plan, and I guarantee, almost guarantee, that you will create the output as long as you stick for it long enough. Because the strategies that I will share work, I tell you that, but it's up to you if you stick to it. Then some product examples. To round it off here, these are some examples of product that I've sold for a minimum of 100,000 euros. I've sold over 3,000 products in my entire dropship career so far. And two things that really stick with me that I also want to let you guys in before I share the product as well here below, what some of my products were, is keep it stupidly simple. Look, the most strange product that I've sold the best. I've sold many fashion products, I've sold many home products, I've sold a lot of kids and baby products, and from my experience, the products that I least liked worked best. So with that, I also want to let you in on, like, remove your feeling or like emotion towards the product, because people, in this case we, lie, but numbers don't. As long as it generates the revenue that you're looking for and you're also profitable by running the ads correctly, that is what you should be focusing on in the beginning. Eventually you can use, okay, these are the products that I've tested, these products that I've liked, I want to create a brand out of those products, you can do it. But in the beginning, it's all about stacking the quick wins. And that's also what you will be learning inside this series. So keep it stupidly simple. People lie, numbers don't. Don't reinvent the wheel, as I mentioned. If something worked for the competitor, then it can work for you in a different market as well. But as I mentioned, you need to market it differently by using your creative landing page and offer and give it your own twist. And then some of the examples of products that I've sold for at least a minimum of 100K is this orthopedic shoe. And by the way, guys, orthopedic shoes are one of the most underrated products. I guarantee you that, because most winning products that I've found are either orthopedic shoes or orthopedic slippers. This one is an orthopedic shoe. This one is also called an orthopedic shoe, at least I called it. It's like more like a slipper shoe. This one is a tactical suit, and I sold it for this pair of jeans. Pretty funny story that they got for free on top of it. While I initially sold it as a complete set, it did not sell. And when I told them, hey, you get the pair of jeans for free, it did sell eventually. Pretty crazy story, while the price stayed exactly the same because people love free stuff. This bed cover is also something that I've sold on my general store, and this legging as well, which was a huge problem solving product for like women who want to like get an like a smaller waist or butt lift, whatever, right? Slim legs. You see a lot of basically problems that it solved by just selling simply a legging. And this was also an offer that I sold for at least 2 + 2 free, 4 + 4 free, or 6 + 6 free. And they bought it almost all for 6 + 6 free because the offer was irresistible. And that's something that we want to do as well. We want to create an offer that people cannot resist. And that's also what I will be explaining inside the series. So all in all, I am genuinely super excited to share all of the strategies with you guys in the upcoming videos, in the upcoming days, weeks and months. And hopefully you will also learn something from it while you're implementing it, so you can create that outcome that you right now have in front of yourself, that you want to create by following these videos. That is my goal. As I mentioned, this is exactly what I would have needed when I started over 6 years ago. And I hope this will also help you. So we will make this work together in the upcoming videos. Thank you for watching the first one, and I'm looking forward to see you in the second one. Take care. Peace.